I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to draw a sort of false dichotomy between planning and thinking and taking action, right? I tend to go, oh, I'm thinking about something and I'm planning something, therefore I'm not taking enough action. Or I go, oh, well, I need to take action. Stop thinking, stop planning. I tend to separate them out in ways that I think are maybe not that productive or useful. And I suspect that there are ways to separate them that are extremely useful and ways to merge them together that are also extremely useful. And we're going to talk about that during the develop portion of the podcast, and not just in a theoretical way like I usually do, but in a practical way. I've started doing some exercises for game development, for brainstorming, for getting something going that feel like they're going to be useful. I don't have full proof of concept. Well, I feel like I have proof of concept, but I don't have a full completed game off of this method or anything, but I do have a distinct feeling that it is moving me forward. So we'll discuss that during the develop section. But first, during the game section of today's episode, I want to talk about ways that I feel we can take action to move the games industry in the direction that we would like to see it move in. Now, that's going to depend on you specifically and what you think is good and bad about the industry and so on, but I think as gamers, it's very easy to think about what we wish was going on. It's very easy to go, oh, I wish they wouldn't keep making these kinds of games. I wish they would stop doing these predatory practices, these logins. This DRM is driving me crazy. I really want to own my games. I don't want to subscribe to things, so on and so on, right? There's those kind of feelings. And I have some thoughts about, and they may not be that satisfying to you, but I want to discuss them. Some thoughts about how we can make an impact individually on the games industry, how we can have an impact as consumers and say, hey, let's really move towards making some games that have a real value to them, whatever that looks like to you, right? A game that is not predatory, a game that respects the user's time, a game that does not try to milk you for every single dollar that you have. And my answers to that are actually surprisingly straightforward, but we're going to jump into that right now. Thank you for joining me. I am Chris, and this is Game, Develop, Repeat. Indulge an old man for a moment as he yells at clouds and reminisces about the good old days. Some of you may also be old men in gamer years, at least, because that's where I'm at. I may not actually be an old man. I'm like 33. I'm not old. I'm not an old man. I'm very young. I'm nimble. I'm quick. I'm strong. I'm at the peak of my youth. Indulge me. In gamer years, I'm old. I've been playing games since before the age of 5. My earliest gaming memories are from when I lived in Texas. I moved out of Texas when I was like 5. So I've been playing games since before 1997. I don't remember necessarily the first game I played. I remember Odell Down Under. I remember playing games on the Amiga. That was actually later. That was in Virginia when I started playing games on Amiga. That was much later. But gamer years, I'm old. All right. I don't know how exactly gamer years line up with human years, right? There's also dog years. I think it might be similar. I'm near my grave, essentially. I've seen things. Things have changed. I went from Odell Down Under, which is a game about being a little fish exploring underwater and looking at other fish. I forget if it was an educational game or not, but it's, you're exploring under the ocean. I went from that to Echo the Dolphin to Subnautica. Okay, things have changed. Things have changed a lot. And boy, Subnautica it's amazing that gaming has come that far. So first, quick celebration of gaming. Holy crap. All right. We went from Odell Down Under to Subnautica. We have Flight Simulator. If you look at the evolution of Flight Simulator, you would go, what the heck? Wow, that's crazy how graphics have changed. And that's just one element of things. We went from Sonic to Celeste, and that's a weird comparison, yes, but Celeste is a masterpiece in ways that it it could not have been that way back in the days of Sonic, right? That game is has built upon years of gaming history and innovations, and it's brilliant is what I'm trying to say. From Animal Crossing to Stardew Valley, we've evolved. But along the way, there are some ways that we've lost our ways. Our way, excuse me. I watched MMOs evolve. I went from I'm going to just go full old man here. Just bear with me, please. I watched MMOs go from EverQuest to Guild Wars 2 now. World of Warcraft, I skipped it because we all talk about it. What else? You know what? I don't really... Oh, Warframe. We went from EverQuest to freaking Warframe. What is that? League of Legends appeared, and I was like, I'm not going to touch this. And then eventually I got sucked into it. And there's just so many different weird evolutions. I watched Defense of the Ancients turn into League of Legends. The reason I didn't play League of Legends is because I was like, this is just some knockoff of Defense of the Ancients, and I wasn't really that deep into that anyway. That game, it had some good elements, but there were some things about it that I didn't like, especially the community. And then what happened with League of Legends? The community freaking sucked, right? So let's talk about some of the things that I love about the way that games have gone, and then some of the things that I don't love so much. I love the wealth of opportunity to create games. Above all else, that is one of the most beautiful things that has come from the progress of games, is that people can just make indie games now and publish them on Steam. And people, you can sit around and you can go, making a game is so hard. Not anyone can do it. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. It's so difficult, and it's impossible. How am I going to learn this technical stuff? How am I going to learn all this? Anyone can make a game. I'm sorry, but it's true. All right? You can. It may not be a good game, but anyone can make a game. So, there's no excuse there. At this point, anyone can do it. Before, that's a harder statement to say back in the day, right? Sure, still technically true, but now it is accessible, right? It is very accessible. And you can publish a game. That was not possible. And that is, credit to Steam, to be honest, for most of that, for a very, very large portion of that. There is no denying that things have changed for the better in a million different ways. Look at some of the games that people have created. And you can't take it from them. You know what I mean? You can't, I'm sorry, let me finish that sentence before I say you know what I mean. Whether or not you like some of the modern games that have come out, right? You can't ignore the incredible advancements in gaming. Maybe you don't like Red Dead Redemption 2, but you look at that game, you check out the way that they do skinning animals and hunting and man, you can't look at it and go, no, that's not impressive at all. There's nothing about this game that impresses me. Yeah, sure, okay. Dwarf Fortress, holy crap. The existence of Dwarf Fortress is one of the most insane things in this world. I do not know how Dwarf Fortress... I know how it came to be. I watched a freaking 4-part documentary on it on YouTube. I get it, but on a structural level, as a society, I don't know how we got to this point where somebody was able to make Dwarf Fortress. I don't understand that, and I don't understand how it became so popular, and I love that all of that is true. And these are the things I love about gaming, and the things that I love about gaming by far outnumber the things that bother me and drive me crazy. However, now I'm going to yell at clouds. See, look at me. I was like, I'm going to yell at clouds, and then I just said a bunch of positive stuff. Here's the yelling. I am so sick and tired of being milked for every dollar that I have, all right? And the angle that I'm going to go on this is a really annoying angle, okay? It's going to be very picky. First, I'm looking at MMOs. Yes, of course I'm looking at MMOs. Freaking $20 microtransactions. Okay, if I am God Emperor of the world, you're in jail. Everyone involved in making a $20 microtransaction for a cosmetic, for an MMO that somebody already pays a monthly subscription for, that they may have paid the price of the expansion for, plus a monthly subscription, plus they spend that much time in the game, which, yes, your playtime benefits the company. Sure, it costs them money, sure, but it keeps the MMO alive because there's more people to play with. Like, you are dedicating so much of your time and energy and money to this game, and then they're like $20 microtransaction from a company. I'm sorry, now we're talking about World of Warcraft and Blizzard. From a company that once gave away such a huge content patch in Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne that it was essentially a freaking expansion to the expansion. I mean, it wasn't like a full story, but when they added the tavern, I'm sorry, I'm getting overwhelmed. When they added the tavern and all of those different heroes to Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne, that was mind-blowing generosity. That should have been $20 in the money of that time, right? That's insane that they did that. And from that company, we're getting these freaking expensive microtransactions on a game that you're already paying monthly for. I'm mad. All right, I see something like that, you're going to jail. You're going to prison. If I'm God, Emperor of the world, you're in jail for that. I can't stand it. It's so bad. And not even once you get out, you're on parole for the rest of your life. You're not allowed to set prices for anything. You're done. You're not allowed to be in any kind of place of power in terms of determining what things cost for consumers. You're not allowed to run businesses. I don't know. Something's happening. Anyway, that's one part of my rant. Forgive me. But I can't stand that stuff. And you know what? This is maybe an easy answer. But I want to remind everybody of it. If you don't like that stuff, don't spend any money on it. Don't do it. And if you really don't like that stuff, then when it happens, email the company, hey, I'm canceling my subscription and I will not be renewing because you did this. Tell them. Say, this is exactly why you took this action and it has harmful effects on your business. You must speak with your wallet and by annoying them via email. Because if you just stop playing the game, they're just going to go, oh, people are getting boring. Maybe we need more microtransactions. Maybe this is better. Maybe they need this. Maybe we need to manipulate them more effectively. I'm sorry, but that is sometimes the lesson that people get from action without communication. If you just take an action, right, you drop your subscription and you don't email the company, you don't tell somebody, you don't say, hey, the reason I'm quitting playing your game that I've been playing for 10 years is because you have started doing things that I feel are manipulative and intentionally taking the fun out of the game in order to get more money out of me. And these are those things, and that is the reason why I'm unsubscribing and encouraging the people I played with to unsubscribe as well, right? If you send that email, there's a chance they might understand you, right? If you don't, they'll just go, oh, we lost one. We need to be more manipulative so that we don't lose them, right? We need to really keep them hooked. That's the stuff that drives me crazy. Now, keep in mind, this is in contrast to everything that I love about the games that are currently out there. And make no mistake, for the most part, I'm very happy with the way that the games industry has evolved. The other small things I take issue with are, like, the loss of cheat codes is really sad to me. I think cheat codes were really fun back in the day, and that culture has kind of disappeared and died, and like big head mode and like all these weird little dumb things you could do with cheat codes. I feel like that's sad. But it happens. Data collection I take issue with, and having to log in on so many games and not being able to play a single player game because you don't have an internet connection, that drives me up a wall. Stuff like that drives me absolutely insane. And all that I'm going to recommend in terms of, the theme of this episode of taking action, right? The theme is to take action. Here are the two actions that I suggest if there are things in the game industry that you wish would come back or that you wish would go away, okay? And I'm not going to rally against any specific thing. I have my own personal things, obviously, but if there's something you really want to see come back to the games industry, one, anytime that you see it happen, review that game. If you find a game that does the thing that you want, freaking buy the game, review the game, gift the game to someone you know is going to love it, and then recommend that they review the game. Do something to make it known. Don't just buy the game. Review the game. Talk about the game. Post about the game. Freaking gush about it, all right? Don't overhype it. That's always dangerous. But let it be known that you like this specific thing about it so that people know that you want that. That does matter. And then if there's something you don't like, don't touch it. Stay away from it. If you do accidentally do it, negative review it. Get whatever you can. Do whatever you can to get away from the things that suck. All right? And that's not just to make an impact on the industry. That's to make an impact on your own enjoyment of gaming. Like, I played Final Fantasy VII despite some grindfest stuff that I knew was going to annoy me, and it broke my interest in gaming for like 3 months straight, right? And then I played Expedition 33, and I went, oh, wait, I love games again. One day I got to just do a whole episode dedicated to just ranting about Expedition 33, like a spoiler episode or something. I love that game. I've yet to finish it. It's driving me crazy. I just don't have any time, man. That's not true. I don't use my time towards gaming because I'm using it towards, studying and development and drawing and a lot of things. But man. So recommendation number 1. If there's something that you love or hate in a game that you've played, talk about it, review it, make it known, let it be known. Do not just vote with your wallet. Speak out about it. Don't just talk about it either. That's really annoying. I'm talking reviews. I'm talking places where people actually pay attention to your feedback. All right? Not just generic complaining, but useful information. Don't just say this game sucks, this game sucks, this game sucks, I hate this thing. Say this element of this game really took away from the fun for me. Or this element of this game really made it more enjoyable for me. Give specific, useful feedback to the developers through your reviews. That is my recommendation. And every once in a blue moon, boycott something outright. I think there are things that deserve to be completely and totally boycotted. I will not pay subscriptions for video games. I do not do it. It is not acceptable to me. I don't do it. If I do, it's 1 month. It's a single month, get my fix, never go back in there. I will not pay for Game Pass. I will not do that because I have seen how Netflix turned out. I have seen how all of these other subscriptions turned out. I've seen how they suck the value out of it as soon as everyone's trapped in there. I'm not comfortable with that. And this is the one thing that I really wish, I hope everybody gets on board with this. The subscriptions for games, like single player games, God, no. Oh my God. The fact that Netflix is getting in on the game market, I do not like subscription services including games in their package because I think they're attempting to move us towards this games as a service model everywhere. Because that's going to be an angle, man. There's been this push towards games as a service, games as a service, games as a service. Everybody's got a successful series, and then they go, how do we make this into a game as a service? How do we make this into an MMO? How do we make this into some kind of subscription or regular microtransaction or something kind of a situation? My answer to that is I'm not engaging with this. This is, in my mind, that is how the game industry goes from incredible and beautiful and just this bastion of artistic creation and deep emotional experiences and just some of the most beautiful creativity I've ever witnessed in my life. That's how it goes from that to just this money-grubbing, manipulative, soul-sucking search for another dollar, get kids addicted to weird, random chance, pseudo-gambling BS. I hate it, dude. I know this is one of the most aggressive angles I've taken on this podcast, but I can't stand when the motivation for making games becomes so incredibly, disgustingly separated from what makes games an enjoyable and beautiful art form. So focus on the beauty of games. Focus on the joy that games bring you. Focus on making games that you love, that bring a little bit of fun into the world, that excite you. Connect with that excitement. And just if you're playing something and you're going, they're just sucking money out of me. They just made this game to make money, right? Don't be afraid to be like, you know what? Screw this. I'm out. Sure, you paid $60 for it, but what, you're gonna waste 60 hours of your life too? No. Get out of there. And then if a game is incredible and you love it and it's beautiful and they're just doing everything right, freaking talk about it and don't you dare spoil it. But talk about it, review it, express your love of the game. Right? I know I just got really angry, but I'm also so excited, right? Because there's so much cool stuff that people are going to make that they haven't even made yet. And the market is massive now. And I do think people are getting fed up with certain types of games, right? I think that's going to change things. And then there's going to be this hole where people are like, I want to play a good, I just think there's so much opportunity for people to try out a few really like powerful, emotional, well-crafted indie games and then go, "Oh, why would I pay a subscription for this game when I can get one indie game a month? Just purchase a different one every month and play that." And have a completely different, powerful experience. And there's reasons. I get it. Look, as much as I'm rallying against subscriptions, as much as I'm rallying against all of these things, I also understand that there's value in them, and I know that my perspective is not the only right perspective. I get it, but I'm also very passionate, so there you go. Speaking of passionate, actually, that ties in perfectly with the next thing that I want to talk about, which is my new angle for working on game development. And you actually just witnessed a version of it, a slightly edited version of the way that I am working on game designs. And I'll explain that right now. Recently, I've been reconnecting with my passion for game development because I felt myself starting to drift away from it. And I don't mean just like reconnecting from a mental standpoint and thinking about it and blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's all nice, fun, and games. No, I have exercises that I'm doing, not like rigid exercises. I'm just doing some things to capture ideas in a way that is much more exciting for me, in a way where I look at it and I go, okay, I'm excited about that idea. Let me record that so that I have it for later. Rather than just going, oh, here's 27 ideas that are vaguely, like you see that list that's like, oh, here's 20 great ideas to practice whatever thing. Like, no, it's not like a listicle thing. It's I created this idea. I'm kind of passionate about it. It's exciting. I can come back to it later and actually flesh out the game. Right now, I'm still in this weird brainstorming phase where every time that I get a game idea, I just like rip through it and write down everything I can think of for the game as fast as I can. That is the method. I have a game idea going. I write down everything as fast as I can to the point where my handwriting makes no sense, right? I just keep going as fast as my brain is going. If I can't read it, I don't care, because at the end of it, I just draw a little line and then I write summary and then I neatly write what I remember, because that's what actually matters. I don't actually need to read the stuff I wrote. It's just a memory aid. Like writing it like that helps me know what the heck it is that I was thinking of. It helps me track my whole stream of consciousness. So then at the end, I just write a quick little summary. Here's what the game idea is, blah, 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 right? That's it. I embrace those moments of here is a massive idea. Here is this insane amount of thought that I have. Like my thought is branching out into forks, and I have this idea, this idea, this idea, and this idea. I just grab onto that. I latch onto the train, and essentially, when I have a crazy idea, instead of going, okay, well, how am I going to structure this? And let me think about this, that, and the other. I grab a sheet of paper and I go on a rampage. I grab a sheet of paper and I just write everything I think of, and I go, I'm sorting it out later. And once I'm done writing, then I sort it out. And it doesn't even take that long. I just write summary, couple sentences, there's the game idea. Don't need every detail. The problem that I was running into was every time I had some crazy big game idea, I was trying to get the entire structure. I was trying to commit to every little detail of the design. I was trying to sit down and go, okay, what about this, and this? I would get lost in the details, lose the forest for the trees, right? In the early phase of game design, what I needed to be doing, maybe, this is how I feel right now. I'll tell you as I keep exploring this. But I feel like what I needed to be doing was actually just sketch out the forest. Screw the trees. Just big picture. What is the vibe? What is the feeling? What is the thing that excites me about this game? Right? So I could say, hey, it's a top-down shooter. This is the theme. You can change weapons. Right? That's it. You can shoot this way, the other. You can change weapons. Done. This is the theme. This is kind of the feeling we're going for. But any more than that, like, there's going to be a machine gun, into this, into that, into this, and that distracts me. For you, that might be amazing. Maybe you want to write every single detail. Maybe that's the stuff you lose track of later. Maybe the first thing you want to do, and maybe this will change, right? Maybe I'll go to make one of these games. I'll start working through it and go, oh, turns out I need to write more details in that first initial draft. This will evolve as I experiment with it. But the thing that I'm loving about it right now is, if I have an idea, if I'm in a mood where I have a lot of energy, if I'm feeling passionate, if I'm feeling like I want to work on a game but I don't know what to do, I can just sit down with a sheet of paper and I can just tear into it. Just absolutely go on a rampage. And I love doing that with these ideas. I have a lot of energy for creating things. I don't know how else to phrase that. That's not even accurate. There's something in me that wants to make stuff, right? I have to be making something. This has been something about me for almost as long as I can remember. A long time. I remember trying to draw comics. I remember trying to make games with my buddy in elementary school. Shout out Logan, the GOAT. Making games in elementary school. Actually, he did it more than I did. Inspiration, that man. And then middle school, trying to make like a webcomic, like just sketching one out. It was like a webcomic making fun of games. I don't remember what it was. It was a weird little pot parody thing. And then I started trying to sketch out like a scene for a game in middle school. I remember doing that. I somehow building my Magic the Gathering decks was kind of a game design thing for me, even though it wasn't, right? And I made a mod, not a mod really, but I made like a race in Morrowind. I made Dwemer playable in Morrowind when I was a kid. Like I just get, just like characteristics and stuff, because I liked the Dwemer, and then I liked characters that could jump really high, so I just gave myself like a racial trait that was like Dwemer boots, which let you jump really high. Like your jump was just insanely high all the time. And I liked the Dwemer because they were really freaking cool. I don't know why, but I made that. My brother made custom maps, and then, I played around with music. As soon as I got deep into music, I started wanting to like create this entire like orchestral. I had this whole grand idea for this one, like multiple act thing that was going through the course of somebody's life. It fell apart immediately. I wrote a book at one point. Like the first thing I tried to do was write a novel that was a parody of A Million Little Pieces. I tried to do that at one point. I stopped after 2 chapters, I think. That might have been middle school. I wrote a book again later. Short stories. I used to post short stories on Reddit. Like, there's all of these things. I've just always had to make stuff, man. composing music. And there's this creative energy. There's this thing, and now I'm sounding like this woo-woo whatever thing. Right? It's not even that. I don't know what it is, but there's something that I have to get out of me. There's some amount of creative urge, right? And I always make this mistake of trying to not overly structure it. I make this mistake of trying to structure it too much, right? And I'm trying to find the balance. I'm like, yeah, there needs to be a little bit of structure, sure. But I'm trying to find the times when I should just rip into it, and then the times when I should process it. And rip into it and process it. Rip into it, process it. Back and forth, back and forth. And I love, and I really am excited about the fact that this past week, I have been able to start loving making stuff again. Because sometimes I lose that. And I was starting to lose that. And it was scary. And then I think that's why I've been procrastinating and avoiding game development lately. I haven't been able to sit down and develop. And this process of sitting down and ripping through ideas is reconnecting me with that love. And there may be one or two of you listening who are going, I wish you would just work on a bigger project and work towards it and finish it and release a game so we can see all the progress and so on and so on. And you know what? Sure, whatever. I agree. I get it. However, there is no point in me developing games if I do not love developing games. That might be a weird statement. That might not make sense fully, right? Especially in today's culture, in the situation of everybody is trying to get stuff out there and be known for this, that, and the other, and get their little, some degree of fame, maybe fortune, whatever external reward you're trying to get from making stuff. Cool, fine. I don't want to make games unless I want to make games. And this process is why I want to make games. This is the love. This is the passion. This is the joy. This is the reason I create things. To be able to sit down and organize these thoughts and feelings and turn them into something that people will actually experience, not just understand. To be able to say, this is something that I was going through. Here it is as a game. Here it is as a book. Here it is as a piece of music. And pass that to somebody and go, please experience these things that I experienced. And experience it as you would experience it, right? Like whatever your version of understanding this thing is, fine. But experience it. Don't just, hear me talk about it and whatever, right? That is what I love about it. And just, it's not even the getting somebody else to experience it. It's something about just getting it out. Creating a thing feels so good. And that's what I'm passionate about. That's why I want to make games. That's why I want to make music. That's why I want to write books. That's why I want to create anything. That's why I sit down at a piano and do some improvisation. It's one of the best feelings I have. I'm not even good at piano, but when I improvise on piano, I go, oh, there it is. It knows what I'm trying to say before I know what I'm saying, right? I have a very basic level of skill on piano, but if I'm in a bad mood and I sit down at a piano and I start hitting some keys, it expresses the bad mood. If I'm in a good mood, it's a good mood. If I'm feeling kind of sorrowful, it comes out sorrowful. And I haven't connected with that in game development as well as I have this week. This week, when I've started writing these design things up, these tiny little 1-2 sentence designs, I've been writing stuff about my life, about my experiences, whatever, and then twisting them, turning them into a game idea very easily as I'm just ripping through ideas.
And then I look at it and I go, oh, there it is. It's expressing what I'm feeling. It's connecting with the thing that I'm trying to actually communicate. And God, I love that. This has been going on way too long. I've rambled way too much this episode. It was inevitable with the topic today. It's about rambling essentially. So of course I go on a rant about it. But let's wrap this thing up. Give you something actionable. I don't know. Give you some kind of a nice closeout to this, and a thank you for listening to this long, wild episode. And then we'll see what happens next week, huh? Here's my challenge to you this week. Connect with something that you truly love or even deeply enjoy. Whatever it is. Maybe connect with your loved ones. Spend time with them and really soak up the moment and pay attention to the things that bring you joy, right? Maybe it's a game that you remember from your childhood and you want to play and really embrace it. Maybe it's an album that you've been excited for. Whatever it may be. Maybe it's nature. That's always a big one for me. I remember that deeply from my childhood, sitting out in nature and just connecting with it and letting it kind of just like take the pain out of me. I don't know how else to express that, but something about sitting out in the woods just kind of sucks the pain out of you, if that makes any sense at all. But connect with something that you love, a sport you like playing, a game you enjoy, and be there for it. Put the phone away, whatever. Because this is what is really helping me enjoy not just game dev, but a lot of things. But really, really being present with the ideas that I'm having. And then not holding back my excitement about those ideas. And not worrying about it. Just being honest and connecting fully. That's my pitch for you. Try connecting with something that you love. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for this one. I can't believe you stuck through it to the end. I appreciate you. I was really on one on this episode. I really went for it on that one. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next week, or in the next one 1 week from now. I'm going to try and run some other experiment, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe we find something interesting. Maybe we don't. They can't all be, I can't have nothing but home runs. Maybe next week's attempts go poorly. Maybe they go well. We'll find out. But until then, have a good week. Get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.